On March 16, 2025 at Madison Square Garden, Callum Walsh and Sutherland collide in a fight that could reshape their careers. Walsh, an unbeaten knockout artist, looks to prove he's ready for world-class competition, while Sutherland aims to stun the boxing world in his U.S. debut. With high stakes, aggressive styles, and a historic venue, this bout promises fireworks. Here are the biggest storylines leading into fight night. Both Walsh and Sutherland bring an aggressive come-forward mentality, setting the stage for an all-action war. Walsh, with an 83% knockout rate, 10 KOs in 12 fights, thrives on power punching and high-pressure exchanges. Sutherland, though not known for his knockout power, with a 37% KO rate, excels in volume punching and technical adjustments. Neither fighter is likely to retreat, ensuring a fight fought in the trenches rather than on the back foot. The dynamics of this bout will likely be determined by who can assert their style first. If Walsh can dictate the pace early, he may force Sutherland into survival mode, preventing the Scottish fighter from implementing his high-output strategy. On the other hand, if Sutherland can establish his jab and keep Walsh from planting his feet, he could disrupt the Irishman's aggressive rhythm and extend the fight into later rounds, where conditioning will become a decisive factor. This is not just about brute force, it's about precision, timing, and tactical execution. Walsh has been able to break down opponents with sharp counters and relentless forward pressure. However, Sutherland's adaptability and ability to adjust mid-fight could make him a more complicated puzzle than Walsh has encountered before. The outcome of this stylistic clash will set the tone for the rest of the night. At 12-0 with 10 KOs, Walsh is no longer just a rising star. He's knocking on the door of the elite. This is his third time headlining at MSG on St. Patrick's Day weekend, a sign that his promoters see him as a future ticket seller. Walsh envisions 2025 as the year he transitions from prospect to contender, with the world title fight within reach. A dominant performance against Sutherland could be the statement he needs. Boxing is filled with talented prospects who fail to make the leap to world-class status, and Walsh is determined to not become one of them. The road to a title shot is treacherous, filled with dangerous opponents who have the experience and durability to expose weaknesses. This fight against Sutherland represents the kind of test that can define Walsh's readiness. Can he maintain his power against a durable, high-volume opponent? Will his pressure style hold up over a long competitive bout? The pressure on Walsh extends beyond the ring. He's being marketed as the next big Irish boxing star, and carrying the weight of national expectations is no small burden. His predecessors, from Barry McGuinn to Carl Frampton, set a high bar. Walsh must not only win, he must impress. If he struggles, doubts will creep in whether he's truly on the fast track to a world title. But if he dominates, the path to championship glory will seem clearer than ever. Sutherland steps onto the U.S. stage with everything to gain. A win over an undefeated fighter like Walsh would instantly elevate his status and open doors to bigger fights and financial opportunities. He's faced quality opposition in Europe, but the pressure of Madison Square Garden and a pro-Walsh crowd represents a new challenge. Can he rise to the occasion and spoil Walsh's coronation? Unlike Walsh, Sutherland enters the ring as the underdog, but boxing history is filled with examples of fighters who use that status as fuel. He's already called this opportunity life-changing, knowing that one victory could shift his career trajectory in ways he could only dream of before. The best way to make a name for yourself in the sport is by taking out an undefeated prospect, and Walsh presents an ideal target. The key for Sutherland will be his ability to remain composed in the early rounds. Walsh will likely come out aggressively, trying to impose his physicality and heavy hands. If Sutherland can withstand the initial pressure, he can start implementing his game plan, using angles, frustrating Walsh with movement, and making him work harder than he's accustomed to. If the fight turns into a drawn-out battle, Sutherland's superior experience in long fights could tilt the odds in his favor. St. Patrick's Day weekend has long been a pivotal moment for Irish fighters. The passionate Irish base, particularly in New York City, creates an electric atmosphere that fuels the warriors inside the ring. Fighters like Katie Taylor and Conor McGregor have used this weekend to catapult their careers to new heights, and Walsh looks to continue that tradition. MSG has hosted some of the most historic fights in boxing history, and when filled with Irish supporters, the energy becomes something truly special. This fight is not just about Walsh versus Sutherland, it's about celebrating Irish boxing on one of its most cherished weekends. The pressure is immense, but the rewards for delivering a show-stopping performance are even greater. MSG is synonymous with boxing greatness. Legends from Muhammad Ali to Mike Tyson have fought under its lights, and for Walsh, the opportunity to follow in their footsteps adds weight to this moment. Sutherland, meanwhile, has the chance to etch his name in history with an upset win. Performing at MSG is a rite of passage. Only one fighter will leave the arena with their reputation enhanced. Fighting in such an iconic venue is a privilege, but it also brings its own set of challenges. The lights are brighter, the pressure is higher, and expectations can weigh heavily on the fighter's shoulders. Walsh has already experienced the energy of Madison Square Garden, but this fight carries added importance. If he wants to establish himself as a major name, he must thrive under the spotlight. For Sutherland, this is the biggest stage of his career. Many fighters struggle when making the jump from smaller venues to grand arenas, but others use the moment to elevate their performance. Sutherland has a chance to steal the show, turning a hostile environment into a platform for his own breakthrough performance. If he can shock the crowd and silence the Irish supporters, he'll leave MSG as more than just a winner. He'll leave as a known contender on the global stage. For Walsh, this fight is a stepping stone toward a world title shot. A decisive win would solidify his standing and accelerate his path toward championship contention. For Sutherland, this is about breaking into the international boxing scene. An upset would redefine his career, positioning him for more lucrative fights and potentially a title eliminator. Both men have everything to fight for, making this bout even more intense. Beyond their individual aspirations, this fight has implications for their respective nations' boxing legacies. Irish boxing has always produced warriors, and Walsh is seen as the next great hope. For Scotland, Sutherland could become a breakout star, following in the footsteps of past champions who carried their country's flag onto the world stage. Walsh's power has been his most formidable weapon, as he's consistently stopped opponents early in fights. However, Sutherland has shown resilience, often thriving in longer battles where endurance becomes a factor. If Sutherland can weather the early storm, he may be able to capitalize as the fight progresses. The clash of styles will be critical. Walsh relies on sheer aggression, looking to overwhelm opponents with his relentless pace and pinpoint power punches. In contrast, Sutherland must use lateral movement and smart positioning to disrupt Walsh's rhythm, forcing the Irishman into a more tactical fight rather than a firefight. Conditioning could also be a factor. Walsh has ended most of his nights early, meaning he's yet to be truly tested in deep waters. Sutherland, having gone the distance multiple times, may have the edge in later rounds if the fight drags on. If he can withstand the early onslaught, his ability to outwork Walsh down the stretch could become a defining factor. The stakes are high as Callum, Walsh, and Dean Sutherland enter the ring in Madison Square Garden, with both fighters hungry for recognition and neither willing to back down. Expect an all-out war that could steal the show. Whether Walsh cements his status as a future champion, or Sutherland delivers a career-defining upset, the fans are in for an unforgettable night of boxing. If you've liked this video, be sure to subscribe so you don't miss out on future breakdowns. We'll see you again when the dust settles on the canvas.